Hi, this is the English man of EB English Music. Welcome to another Studio Talk vlog. In the previous video, we were talking about the submission process and also the information that you need to include when submitting your song to radio, and also the importance of becoming a member of SAMRO, which is the South African Music Rights Organization, for the collection of the royalties of your songs that get played on radio. Now, before I get into some more info about registering your song with SAMRO, I just want to give you a bonus tip. Not a lot of people or artists know about this, is that there's actually a form that you can also fill in for live performances. Remember, in the previous video I spoke about that you have radio stations and also live music venues. Anywhere where music is played, they need to pay a certain license, and from there your royalties are collected for the songs that are played. Now, a lot of artists don't know that you can actually also collect royalties for live performances of your own original music. There's a form that you can get via their website, samro.org.za. There's a section called Forms. In that drop-down menu, you'll see another list for music creators. They have a whole bunch of forms that you can use to fill out. One of those forms are the live performance forms, and what you can do is actually fill in what songs, your original compositions of course, that you have performed. Then the owner of the venue obviously needs to sign off on that to confirm that those are the songs that you actually performed, and you can actually send that to SAMRO and collect royalties for that. Just another extra revenue stream for you as a performer. Now, moving back to this episode today of Studio Talk, where I actually want to talk about how you go about filling out your SAMRO form, because a lot of people also get confused about how they need to fill it out. There are two ways that we're going to talk about. In this one, we're going to talk about obviously still the physical way that you can fill out your form, and also there's a way of doing it online via the SAMRO website. So first, let's talk about the form that you need to fill out physically if you maybe don't have access to internet. They call it either a notification of works form or a registration of works form. Now, the form is about 18 pages long, but you don't actually need all 18 pages. The reason why they have 18 pages is if you want to register multiple works at the same time. But if you're just registering one at a time, you only need to print maybe the first 2 pages. On the first page, obviously, they ask you for your name as the composer or author. When they talk about composer versus author, they mean the composer, the person who wrote the music. The author is the person who wrote the lyrics. If you were involved in both, obviously, then you are composer and the author. You fill out your name and surname as per your ID. Because when you register as a member for SAMRO, they ask for your name as per your ID. And also remember, in the previous video, I said when you submit your song to radio, the information that's included as a composer and author, you have to put your real name. It means actually your name as per your ID. So that is what you include in the form. Then obviously they either ask you for your ID number, passport number, or company registration number. Why they ask for a company registration number is because if you're registering not as a composer but as a publishing company. But for now, we're just going to deal with you as an individual composer or author. Then obviously below that they have details of the publisher if you are involved with one. If not, doesn't really matter, and it doesn't apply to you. Below that, again, the registration type. They're asking you, are you registering as a composer or author, publisher, sub-publisher, or catalog? In this case, if you're an individual, you will make a cross in the box for composer, author. Then below that, they ask you for your contact number and email address as reference if there is a problem and they need to contact you to sort those problems out. Then on the next page is obviously just a confirmation that the information that you've included is correct. You will obviously sign there as the composer, author, or the publisher if that is the role that you are fulfilling. Below that is where we actually get to the details of the song. Now, the first thing that they ask you for is a title. And if you notice, some songs have alternative titles. They will have maybe the song title is Dangerous, and then in brackets I love you, or something like that. And if you have an alternative title, they give you an area to include that as well. But if it's straightforward, dangerous, that is the title of the song, then that is what you include. Below that, obviously, the duration is how long your song is, 3 minutes 25 seconds or whatever the case may be. Then next to that, they have a section for instrumentation. They have abbreviations here for IV, VS, and IS. The type of instrumentation that you're going to put down is normally IV. I stands for instrumental and V stands for voice, because those are the two things that are included in most songs. The type of work refers to, is it a light work, or is it, a pop song, or whatever the case is. You don't necessarily need to include the genre, but for most of these songs, you would include it as a light work. Then the name of the artist or group that's performing the song, that's also the next column that needs to be filled in. And then below that is probably the most important section that needs to be filled out correctly. If you are the only composer and author, it makes it very simple, because you will include your name under right holders' names, your full name, again, as per your ID. Then the next column, it will ask you for your capacity or role, and here you need to use a couple of abbreviations. You either put down C as the composer, the person who wrote the music, or you put down A if you are the author of the lyrics, or the third option would be to put down CA, where you are the composer and author. And then next to that, they will have an abbreviation called PR, which stands for Performance Royalty Percentage. And if you are the only person that composed and wrote the whole song, you would obviously put 100%. If there are more of you that's involved in the writing of the song, then you would obviously put their names there as well. And you would need to decide between you and the people that you collaborated with what would be the percentage splits between yourself and your collaborators in terms of the composition, authoring of lyrics. That is something that you need to decide. I will obviously give you some guidelines in future videos as to how you would go about doing the split, but that is the important information that you need to include. I'm going to wrap it up here for this edition of Studio Talk. In the next video, we'll cover how you register your song digitally via the website samro.org.za. Please give me a thumbs up in this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Please share it with those that need this information, and I'll catch you on the next Studio Talk vlog.
Ooh, it's the English man.